guys, it's Shelly. In today's video, we are going over the Bauer. I'm gonna show it to you in 6 steps. Before we get started, Bauers are one of those elements that does require a lot of flexibility. So if you do struggle with this, it's okay. It's not the end of the world. You will get it. We just have to work on flexibility. That's it. So we're jumping right into step number 1. In step number 1, we're gonna be focusing on the positioning of your feet. Now, when we're doing this, before we even start gliding with this Bauer, we're gonna go up to the boards and we are going to try the foot position on the boards. It'll be a lot easier to do it this way first, just to see how your flexibility is with this Bauer. So you're gonna go up to the boards, you're gonna put 2 hands on the boards and your shoulders and hips are gonna face the boards. You're gonna try both feet, of course, because you wanna see which one's more flexible, but you're gonna take one of your feet, you're gonna open the toe out and put that foot up against the boards. Now, when you put that foot up against the boards, it's going to be the inside arch of your foot that's against the boards. That same knee is also going to be touching the boards as well, so that front leg with the foot up against the boards is also going to have some bend as well. So you will have knee bend. Now you're gonna take your other leg, your free leg. You are going to turn your toe in the opposite direction that the foot on the boards is turning in. So both your toes are going to face away from each other, and you are going to lock that knee, stretch that leg, and place it directly behind you. So this is going to be the position that we're trying to achieve. You want your feet to pretty much be parallel with each other. When your feet are not parallel with each other, you're gonna have trouble when you try gliding this, trying to keep it going on a nice outside or flat edge. So make sure those toes point out. And that is going to be the first part of seeing how you're gonna do with this Bauer. And if you do really well with this exercise, then we're gonna move on to step number 2. All right, you guys, step number 2 in this Bauer is to now basically execute it. So we're gonna try it with some speed. Now, when you do this, if this is your first time doing this, or even if you're more of a beginner doing this and you've done this before, but let's say it's not feeling comfortable or it's not strong, I would recommend that you go a little bit slower. You still want to be moving across the ice, but go a little slower. Do not go super fast, because it's going to be very difficult for you to open up those toes, glide, and then on top of going fast, we just don't want an accident, so don't do that. Go nice and easy, go slow enough to where you can control yourself. So what we're gonna do to get into this Bauer is we're gonna do some backward crossovers. So you're gonna make sure you get some nice speed, not too fast, remember. Get some nice speed to get some good flow going into your Bauers. Getting into this Bauer is our next step, so we're gonna go ahead and jump right into that one now. All right, you guys, we are in step 3, which is the foot flip. So this is the part where we get into the beginnings of the Bauer. So when you're doing your backward crossovers, on your last crossover, this is where you have to really think about that transition into the Bauer, because this is where it happens. So on that last crossover, as you do the undercut, you are going to bring your undercut leg basically back to the free side. And as you're bringing that foot and leg back to the free side after you're done with your undercut, you are turning your toe open, and you're gonna point that toe the direction that you wanna go, and you're gonna place that foot onto the ice. Be sure you're not going crazy fast like we talked about in the last step, but 2, make sure you open up your toe enough, because if your toe is not open enough, it's gonna be very hard for you to continue that glide into this Bauer. As you're placing your foot onto the ice, your shoulders and your hips are going to basically be facing inside of your circle that you're doing your crossovers on. So even though your body direction is going forward, your either left side or your right side is going to be leading the way in this Bauer, along with your left or right foot, whichever way is easier for you. Remember, make sure you're trying both sides, because there might be one side that's a lot easier than the other, but this is how we get into that Bauer from those backward crossovers, is we do this foot flip. So your shoulders and your hips are gonna be facing forward, but you are moving sideways or down ice. So keep that in mind. Now let's get into our next step. All right, for step number 4, we're gonna talk about our body position, our leg position, and our arm position. So basically positioning. So what do we do with our legs? So first of all, our front leading leg, the leg that did the flip, our body weight's going to be on that leg. So that knee should be bent. So body weight is over that front leg, knee is bent, and our back leg, knee is locked. So our back leg is absolutely straight, leaning onto an inside edge. What do we do with our arms? There's a lot of different things you can do with your arms. This is where, just choreography, creativity come into play, and it depends on your music, of course, or if you're just doing it for fun or whatever position you like. So, arms, they could just be out. You just keep them out normal. Or you can put them above your head to form a circle, almost like a layback position. You can do another position where one arm's in front and one arm's up above your head. There's a lot of cool things that you could do. You could do arms behind your back. There's a lot of different ways, but just to be basic, keep your body up for now until you get used to your feet being in that position and gliding across the ice, and then keep your arms out. You can put your arms up as well. That does help our posture. So those are some things to play with as you're doing this Bauer as well. In step number 5, we need to talk about the edge. So what edge are we supposed to be on when we're doing this Bauer? Ideally, you want to be on an outside edge. Now, when I tell you an outside edge, basically what I'm talking about is that edge of that front leading foot. So the knee that's bent. That foot, if it's on the outside edge, that's what we want. Now, it doesn't need to be a deep outside edge. It can be a bit shallow. That's okay. For some people, the outside edge is a little bit more difficult. So when they learn the Bauer, they like to go on an inside edge, which is fine for learning it. Some people like to make the Bauer more flat or straight down ice when they're first learning it. That is okay too. As we are getting more flexible with this and as we are trying to do this correct Bauer position with our legs and our upper body, we need to slowly work our way into it. The 6th step, the final step, is how do we get out of this Bauer? It's a really awkward position. It's uncomfortable for some, especially when you're first learning it. So how in the world do we get out of this? So basically, we're gonna do a forward outside 3 turn into a back outside edge or a checkout position. So when you are in your Bauer, you are going to keep that body weight over the front. You're gonna bring your back leg a little bit in towards your other foot, and you're gonna push into a nice 3 turn, and then you're gonna step onto your free leg for a nice checkout position. So this is how we get out of our Bauer. If you have to bring your feet a little bit closer in order to do that push into the 3 turn, that's fine, because it is kind of tricky and you are doing a lot of balancing in order to just do that 3 turn from the Bauer. So if you have to bring your feet a little bit more together, that is totally fine. But that is the more graceful way of exiting the Bauer, is just to do a really nice 3 turn with a back outside edge or a checkout. You guys, here is a bonus tip. If you got this Bauer down, if you're able to hold a beautiful edge with your Bauer, especially that outside edge, I want you guys to take it up a notch with your upper body position. So instead of being upright, I want to challenge you guys to lean back like a layback while you're holding your Bauer. It looks amazing in programs, and of course, if you're going into a jump, this is a great way to boost your GOE for that jump. But I want you guys to try it out with the layback if you feel comfortable and solid on your Bauer. All right, you guys, make sure you click that little bell, because in our next video, we're gonna be going over double salto exercises. You do not wanna miss it. Also, be sure to check out these other videos up here on the side. And also, in the future, I am going to be posting a jump progression video, and then we're gonna be taking those jumps and breaking them down. So that way it helps some of you guys out to know which jumps and what order you should be going in when you're learning these jumps. That's going to be a work in progress. I'm gonna be working on that, and we are hopefully going to get that up soon. So keep your eyes peeled for that. Make sure you're clicking that bell and subscribing so you know when it comes out. Until next time, I will see you in the next video. Bye, guys.